we're here at the train station then. This is the start of the protest today about illegal migrants in Skegness. As you can see, police are out in force. There's quite a lot here. This is only a few of them, apparently they're around town as well. Not so many here for protesting yet, but I say it is only 10:30 yet. I don't know what to say. A lot of police come in, they're not local obviously, tactical support team and one or two others, so we'll get back to you in a minute or two. Well, it's now 5 to 11, and as you can see, there's a lot more here now. And let's get that strap out of the way. There you go. Hell of a lot more here, and there's quite a few. We've got news teams here. We've got cameramen here we've never seen before. The police are filming us over here. Look. There you go. Tacticals here. At one stage there was more police here than there was actually protesters. So there you go, more to come. As you can see, it's getting bigger and bigger. Police liaison have just turned up. Oh, I've never seen so many cameramen out, so no doubt it'll be all over the news and everywhere else tonight. There you have it. Still not time yet, it's just gone 5 to, so we'll do it in a minute. There you go, this is a side swipe, and as you can see there is now quite a lot here. I don't know how many roughly.
Another one going up, go! We want our country back! 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 Oh, men after you. No, drop your phone up, you'll run it. You haven't got a chance on yours. You pay £5 million, you know that. You pay £5. £10 off here. Get the phone. I've got it, I've got the phone. Back away. Get me in the pier to come on. What's happening?
Well, we're about to start, not long now. It's now 8 minutes past 11. Quite a lot here now. So it's just a case of waiting for the to set up now. It's going from here apparently down on the road to the clock tower and then onto the Tower Gardens.
That shouldn't even be here. They've crossed the border illegally. It's a disgrace. Matt Warman's branding everybody a racist for coming out to this today. He's a disgrace. All he's doing is lying to everybody about what's going on. He should hang his head in shame for branding everybody, local people, racist for this event. We're going to be setting off from here about 20 to 12 and making his way to Tower Gardens for a few short speeches. But I can't thank everybody enough that's come today just to stand up and show we've had enough, and enough is enough. This needs to stop. It needs to stop now. The government are just making themselves richer while they're leaving us to suffer. They're leaving everybody to suffer, struggling to pay bills. They're putting people in 5-star, 4-star hotels. they shouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. So everyone needs to start coming together now and showing them we have had enough of this bullshit that they're putting out.
Enough's enough.
I'm going to put Alec on and let him have a chat to you. We want to try and gather everybody together now, and we're going to start making plans and how we're going to do this. We don't want no violence. We don't want a repeat of Merseyside. We want this to go peaceful.
Yes.
We don't want nothing like that.
No.
That's not what we're here for. We're here to show them we have had enough, and it's as simple as that.
Yes.
Well said.
Where's Alec?
So, when this event was advertised, it was called Veterans Before Illegals. And when I read that, the question I had was this: what sort of a society could actually allow that to happen? What sort of a society could even create a situation where you could have veterans homeless on the street, whilst at the same time uninvited invaders could be put up in hotels and given whatever they want? What sort of a society
Not our society.
could enable that?
Send them back.
Not ours.
Send them back.
And so that was the moment when I realised that the issue was not actually migrants, that the issue was not actually illegals. The issue was a parasitic and carcinogenic government. The issue is not migrants, the issue is Marxism. Over the last few decades, this pervasive mentality of corruption and greed has permeated absolutely every corner of the House of Westminster criminals, and it has seeped into every aspect of the apparatus of government. Until now, we have a situation where individually people can do as they please, but as a mass, as a people, the British people have been enslaved by the chains of an ideology they never wanted and never asked for and never supported.
Send them back.
Of all the decisions that I made in my own life, the decision I made 7 years ago to join the army is the best one I did. And it's because I'm a nationalist insofar as I believe that a nation belongs to its people and not that a people belong to a government.
Yes.
But it's the best decision I ever made, because at that point I realised that there is something in this world that is worth more than your own self. I realised that a person can never actually be alone if they stand hand in hand with their own people, and they understand that their destiny is not as one person. Their destiny is as an entire nation, an entire collective, an entire race of people.
He's getting the standard.
He's alright?
Yeah, he's fine.
He says he was scared. Knows that fucker.
No, he's getting
The people of Britain might have been demoralised and reduced to a state in which they believe that they don't have a future. But what we're seeing now, and what we've seen over the past weeks and the past months with all of these demonstrations, what we have seen is a collective will that says we will not be your slaves anymore. Soon we are going to march through this town and down to the front.
Okay.
When that happens, think this: you're not doing this for any ideology. You're not doing this because I'm asking you to. You're not doing this because anyone's told you to. You are doing this for your own sake and for your own future as a people. And when we go down that street, remember those qualities that have enabled our people to create the world that we want to live in the past. Remember those qualities of courage, of sacrifice, of camaraderie. Follow the person in front of you and do not abandon the person beside you. We will do this as a people. So what we'd like to do now, before we step off, we'd like to get, if there's anyone here who was in the forces, who's a veteran, if you know how to march, we'd like to get you pushed to the front, because quite literally we're going to make this veterans before illegals. So if that's you, please come over here now and we'll get you to the front. Behind that, we're going to get the banners, one behind the other, with a distance between each one, so that everybody on the street who's watching can see them. And behind that, we'll get the rest of the mass that is here. This lovely lady here, who's got the Union Jack, she is going to stand front and centre behind the line of banners. What we'd like you to do is do exactly what they do in an episode of Sharp and follow the King's colours down that high street. So if you could, what we'll do is we'll set off through that gate there and head on down the street.
You're in front, sweetheart.
So by all means, if you start to organise yourselves now, in 10 minutes, hopefully 10 minutes, the march will then start. Thanks.
Further down that way, then we can see your banner.
Get me one from you.
Country back, we want our country back, we want our country back, we want our country back. Root streets, root streets, root streets.
Got enough press? You won't get a peaceful demo more than this, I'll tell you. We want in trouble, we're not getting it. Go on.
Lads!
Alec, hold it 30 seconds. David's in there.
What?
David's in there. This way.
Oh, I have to leave it this way.
This way. Follow Scott.
Follow us.
Guys with the banners, follow us! Everybody else, follow the flag!
David, up here. Keep it up.
Get in there!
Yeah, John.
Right wheel down here!
Well, mate.
Thank you, Peter Smith, much appreciated.
Well, I'd have thought there was well over 300 protesters today, and we've now got to the clock tower. We're about to enter the Tower Gardens. See what happens. And as you can see, they've blocked the road off with a police wagon to make sure they don't go any further. I'll everyone into the Tower Gardens. Not really.
Good evening.
Well, this just shows you the size of it. They're still coming into Tower Gardens, and you've got a rough idea there from this view. Look at that.
Our first casualty.
I'm a little teapot.
Well, as you can see, the Cafe decided to close today because they thought it wasn't safe, and up to now there's been no signs of trouble or aggravation or anything.
Stop it.
Go back 15 minutes. Just hang around, it shouldn't take too long.
No.
Very good. So my name is I'm the Deputy Leader of Patriotic Alternative, and I'm going to be hosting the protest today. So I'd like to begin today by thanking you all for being here. Thank you all for giving up your Saturday and coming out here and making your presence and your voices known. There are some people who see an injustice and they look the other way because they're too scared to say anything. There are some people who talk about things on social media but they don't actually do anything. And then there are those who actually get outside and try and make things better for their people. And each and every one of you falls into that third category. So thank you and congratulations for being here today. I'd say there's maybe around 400 people here today. These protests are getting bigger and bigger.
Here today.
In the future, many more thousands of people will join us, but just know that you were the vanguard. You were the ones who came out here first. So well done.
Hold it down. Hold it down.
So let's get to the issue at hand. We are here today to protest against the government's housing of illegal migrants. They're being housed up and down the country, and as we know, there are at least 3 hotels in this local area that are housing illegal migrants. 5. There are 5 now. This is not an anti-refugee protest because these people are not refugees. They're coming from India, Pakistan, Albania. They pay people smugglers to come over to the country. They destroy their identification on the way over, and then they get housed in hotels to take advantage of our generous welfare system. And the children. I'm not allowed to say that. And of course, the British taxpayer is paying for this. Well, we were never asked if we wanted to do this. And in fact, we've told the government again and again that we do not want mass open-door immigration. We tell them every time we vote in an election. We told them with Brexit. We tell them with every survey and opinion poll from Empire Windrush to the present day. But they do not listen to us. There are 250,000 homeless British people living on our streets.
Yes.
There are elderly people who are dying alone because they're too scared to turn the heating on. There are young couples who can't afford to buy food for their children. Do you know that people are now abandoning their pets because they can't afford to buy pet food anymore? Yeah. So before we begin today, I need to say something very important. The press are going to call you all far right. They're going to call you Nazis. They're going to call you racist and fascists. And I know these words don't bother us anymore, but let's not give them any ammunition. When the headlines come out tomorrow, let's make them look stupid, because we're here because we love our own people. So today we have 2 types of speakers. We have activists. So these are people who have campaigned up and down the whole country against the housing of illegal migrants. And they've not only campaigned, they've won. We won in Linton on Ouse. We won in Cottingham. We've got people who campaigned in Penally and won there. So they're going to be sharing their knowledge and expertise on the subject. And secondly, most importantly, we have local voices, because the government won't ask local people what you think. So we've asked you, and we're going to be hearing about your experiences, your concerns, and then helping to amplify your voices. So the first speaker of today is one of our activists with Patriotic Alternative. He's a regional organiser for Yorkshire, and he was a key activist in getting accommodation plans in Linton-on-Ouse cancelled. So this man has won for us before and he's here to share his knowledge today.
It is travelling on tracks towards our future. Now Labour and Conservatives, they represent the left and the right track. But like all train tracks, they all go in the same direction. Now you can choose between them. But either way, I can guarantee you, you will be the one who loses. We have Conservatives claiming they can't stop them coming in. The boats just keep coming. We can't do anything about it. We've got this thing called a border, but we don't really understand how that works. So they just keep coming. And then we have Labour. And their issue is that the accommodation isn't nice enough. Personally, 5-star hotel, I'd be quite happy. But, you know, to each their own.
What about our homeless? They'd be happy, wouldn't they?
It is a total slap in the face that we're hearing that Rishi Sunak is going to deal with this backlog of illegal immigrants with one simple trick. Is he going to send them back? Of course not. After blowing billions up the wall every year, the Conservatives are now talking about granting amnesty to thousands of them. It used to be a cigarette paper between Labour and Conservatives, but this doesn't even seem to bother them anymore. They think they can keep us quiet by having Suella Braverman call them invaders once in a while, a bit of red meat for the masses. But are you satisfied with mere words? No! Do you demand action? Yes! The future they're leading us towards is one of misery. Lockdown in your towns and cities, government running their eye over your bank accounts, and to top it off, becoming a minority in your homeland. Do you want this for yourself? No! Do you want this for your children? Absolutely. That is why we must begin to lay our own track. We have to fight back now, and we have to fight back together. It will demand discipline and organisation, but it can be done. You represent the bravest among us, those that stand while others kneel. The politicians are scared, and looking at the numbers here, I can see why. Yay! Thank you, Skegness. Thank you for coming out. What a fantastic showing. These keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'll welcome back my wife Laura to introduce our next local speaker.
Thank you very much for that, Sam. So our second speaker of the day is a local from this area. He's the man who organised the protest today. And as I said at the start, local people are not being asked what they want. You're not being asked whether you want these migrants in your town. So we're going to ask a local person now. Please welcome Scott Pitts.
I'm a bit nervous because I've never done this before, but I've written it down, so you'll have to bear with me. But firstly, I'd like to thank everyone who came here today. When I called for this march back in January, I did it because I could see with my own eyes the injustices that were happening in this country. I could see the hotels in town filling up with uninvited illegal migrants. Meanwhile, I could see the streets filling up with my own countrymen who were homeless and struggling. Yeah. All the while, these hotels have been filling up with uninvited. The pockets of the politicians have been filling up with more and more money. This whole situation is caused by the absolute greed and selfishness of the traitors in government who care more about the rest of the world than their own people. We care more about who care about more about their money than the future of the nation that they were asked to lead. The betrayal has to end. When these marches and protests happen across the country, they're those who actively go to slander, abuse and spit on people for standing up for themselves. And it's always the same people who are doing it. The same people who have created these problems with immigration are the same people who attack anybody. Who attack anybody who anybody who tries to fix it, because they don't care about people, they only care about the ideology. Whereas we came here today because we believe in the fundamental principle that a nation belongs to its own people, not that the people belong to the government of thieves. To see everyone who came here today gives me hope, because I know for a fact that I am not the only one who feels this betrayal. And all those British people who have been abandoned by their own government in favour of migrants can see us here, and they can see with their own eyes that while the criminals in Westminster may have turned their backs on them, we have not abandoned them. We will continue to fight for our people, just as we have today, for as long as it takes. We've come here to say, and we keep saying it, for as long as it takes, enough is enough. If the traitors believe that this is the last that they'll see of us in Skegness, then they can think again. We will be back, and if they ignore the cries of our people, then we will be back with a vengeance. And the marches will get bigger and bigger until finally they have no choice but to listen. Then we will see who wins and who loses. Thank you very much, people.
Massive thank you to those girls.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have our third speaker. This is a gentleman who runs an organisation called the Yorkshire Patriots, and he is protesting week in, week out, up and down the country at various migrant accommodation locations. He has a lot of experience and he's given away many years of his life to protest and stand up for our people. So please welcome David Sunderland.
Robert, come on, Rob.
Hello, Skegness. I'm just going to ask one question. Would anybody take in a illegal immigrant?
No!
Thank God for that. Right now I'll start. Over a large period of time, asylum seekers have been housed in hotels and other accommodation. The government continues to place these people wherever they can, and it keeps rising. Council has stated that many residents are concerned about the number of refugees in the town, and also that they feel intimidated because they are young males harassing young girls and knocking around in large groups. And several incidents have been reported, but nothing has been done. They were also told that these asylum seekers would be moved in 3 months, but once again, false promises and more. They arrive more and more every day. Also, a resident said that they don't want to go out at night due to illegals hanging around. So why are they not getting information about all these things? But nothing gets done. One of the owners of these hotels refused to house asylum seekers. It was over £10,000 a week. But they stated charity begins at home. Also in Skegness, tourism is low due to these problems. And local homeless people are sleeping in doorways.
Better than the last one.
Don't care. And these asylum seekers are cosy in hotels, getting 3 meals a day, a warm bed. Most of the hotels in Skegness have no vacancies. If you ask security guard if there's any vacancy, he will tell you to leave and it's private property. This is to the government, as simple as that. Take some immigrants out of hotels now and rehouse them in private accommodation. Then what they do then, they fill the hotels up again. It's just a simple process.
Exactly.
The problem has been for 3 years, and the Home Office have given contracts to Serco for millions of pounds. They also said that these contracts offer a range of improvements with a focus on assisting these individuals through the asylum system. Well, how about assisting your own people? You know what I mean? Why are they not assisting the people who are homeless?
No, veterans! Look after the vets.
The taxpayer has been stung for millions, but there's still a massive list to be deported deported. Also, we have 150,000 waiting for a decision on them applying for an asylum claim. It's also cost £4.7 million per day to keep these people. It also costs £84,000 per day to deploy the Royal Navy to stop the crossings. Well, do your jobs properly, because you're not stopping them. Hundreds are getting through daily, but don't the government realise that this is an invasion of our country? No, they don't. Instead of spending the money on the Legans, why don't you help the 260,000 homeless people on the streets? We have women with young children, mental health problems, abuse and rape victims. We have the elderly who can't afford to keep warm. We have 13,000 ex-servicemen who came out and can't get a home because of these people. The thought of the wars in this country and they're being ignored. This has to stop now. You know we are being invaded, and you know we're spending on and on and on and nothing on the military. So please listen to the British people for once. Close the borders, do your job properly, and concentrate on looking after your road for a change. Thank you.
Geordie boy! Yes, sir! Come on! Man,
She's a little bit shy, she's never done this before, but she's having some pretty bad experiences with a migrant hotel and she wants to tell you all about it. Please give her a warm welcome, Cherie.
So, I'm a local here, I've been here for 10 years now. I never ever experienced what happened to me the other night. So I was walking down the back of KFC, we have a local park, we've got boating lakes, things like that. I was accosted by 8 of them, all males, all by themselves, just me and my dog. They continued to follow us.
What were you doing?
Exactly. Where's the protection? There's people walking about, but everybody just turned a blind eye to it. This is a children's play park at the back of KFC, guys. This is where our children are playing. Then you go on Snapchat, call it up just now, go on Snapchat, go on local activities in the area. You've got a local Hamza somebody playing in Lucky Strike with your children, bowling. What the hell are 30-year-old men doing playing with 14-year-old girls in the middle of Lucky Strike? They know what they're doing. In their country it might be alright, but not in our country. They're not living by our rules. They're not doing what they should be doing. And why can't I get a house in my own country, in my own town, £600 I'm paying, and they're paying nothing to live in a hotel when we're being given 10 something Georgie Thank you, guys.
Everyone's having a meltdown over it, basically. So he is a rising star of British nationalism. He's wise beyond his years.
Now please excuse me if I ramble a little bit. I actually haven't prepared a single thing for you today, but here we go. For 13 years we've had the Conservatives. This town has voted the Conservatives time and time again. And what have they given us? Nothing. For 13 years. Every time we vote them in, they promise we'll get immigration down. Things are getting worse and worse and worse. Every time they give us new record levels of immigration, higher than New Labour. And it was their intention to change the face of this country on purpose, deliberately, so it was irreversible. We have got to stop giving this treacherous party a mandate. We have got to stop falling for their lies every time. And don't think to yourself, oh, let's vote Labour instead to punish them. No, we have got to stop voting for all of these parties. Every single party is treacherous. The Conservatives, Labour, SNP, Plaid Cymru, the Greens, Lib Dems, all of them are complicit. They are all complicit in demographically replacing us. They disrupt our communities. They know that this will cause problems. They know that it's going to increase you heard about Dover? What's been happening in Dover?
Yes.
There was an alleged rape of a girl in a school. And what was the school's response? Okay, not to think about the welfare and protection of the girls, but to punish the girls. I mean, this is supposed to be a feminist society. Now, I'm not a feminist myself, but I think we can all say the consequences of mass migration is 100% eroding the rights of girls and women, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Women should have the right not to be raped by strangers who have been deliberately imported by this party. This town has really suffered. 5 hotels in the space of half a year. That's disgusting. And this party should be ashamed of itself. And we all hear anecdotes about the stories, and it's always the same thing. Young men. Where are the women? Where are the children? We're told they're asylum seekers, which implies they'll then get processed and be considered refugees. Where are the women? Where are the children? It's always young men, every single time. Don't take us for fools. We know they are not refugees. They are illegal immigrants. We know this. Stop lying to us.
Invaders!
Small weed.
Biggest invasion ever!
Talks the truth.
Silent invasion!
And what do the media do? What do these anti-fascist organisations do?
Lie!
Well, they lie for sure. They tell us. They tell us, oh, all you people here today, you can't think for yourselves. The reason why you're hostile to these migrants is because Suella Braverman used the word invasion one time. She's used the word invasion one time, and we're all just so stupid. We just turn into horrible bigots. We all turn into vile, genocidal, racist maniacs, apparently. That's what the media like to imply, and we're sick to death of it. We are sick to death of being browbeaten, being told that we are bad people for being concerned about our people and our children's welfare. They say we're hateful. We're not hateful. We're looking out for our own people's welfare. But they twist and they lie. They use our own empathy and virtue against us. What do? They say Skegness is a town that is opening and welcoming and tolerant. This is all to guilt trip you, okay? We are empathetic people. We are patient, but we look out for our own people first, and they try and twist these emotions of love and virtue and charity so that we are browbeaten and bullied into taking people who will take advantage of us. These migrants are taking advantage of us. They know that white people are second-class citizens in their own country. They know that they can just break the law as they wish. They know that they can get away with egregious crimes, and they will be lavished for doing so. They get paid all kinds of benefits, and in the case of the illegal migrants in the hotels, they get lavished, put up in 3, 4, 5-star hotels. They get their meals paid for every single day. Now they're getting pocket money. Can you believe it? Are any of you getting pocket money from the government? What a joke. They're also getting new duvets, new mattresses. When was the last time you got a new duvet or mattress? For free from the government.
They must be running from war.
Yeah, war. Do you know, some of you might have seen my video where I confronted that MP Andrew Sellers recently, and of course I made many points and he couldn't refute any of them. He only decided to challenge one thing, and that was me saying that they're not refugees. So what was his response? He said, oh well, there's 3,000 Nigerian Christians killed every year. Which is ironic, because you have to consider, right, who's murdering these people? Well, that's a very awkward question to ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, because we know who's going to be attacking those Christians in Nigeria. It's the people of the same religious background, which the Tories are importing en masse. It's just an utter joke. I got to wrap it up now because I could go on and on for a very long time.
Keep going,
But you have to keep up the fight. fight, you have to keep up the resistance, you have to keep telling your MP that this is wrong, because they're supposed to be our representatives, but they don't represent us. They hold these meetings to pretend like they're listening, to pretend like they care. No, all they do is they tell us, they dictate to us, they tell us what's going to be done to us, but it's time we tell them what we are going to do to them. We are not going to give them our power anymore. Stop voting Labour and Tory. Never again. Thank you.
Power to the people!
Sounded like you.
Love good! Hey mate, do you know one?
I'm sorry I had to cut Wes off. We've had a few more local people who have said that they want to say some words. So next up we have a man from within the region, and again it's his first ever speech, so please make him feel very welcome. Please welcome Carl.
Come on, Cal!
Oh, Cal! Not Hunter, is it?
Right, I wanted to speak today because we're paying for this in many ways, in more ways than we realise. When our old age pensioners are squeezed for their assets to pay for the care, when the pensions are cut more and more, with schools are filled to the brim and have got no more places for local children who have to travel miles. This isn't right. I come from a town where 4 generations of my family went to the same school, and we barely got my nephews in. And this is ridiculous. This is their birthright. And we can't allow this to carry on, because there will be nothing left for our children. Nothing. Our standard of living will be so bad that it won't be worth having children anymore. And you can see that with the way that people act and behave. The birth rate's dropping through the floor. People aren't interested in having families because they don't feel safe and secure. If we don't have borders around our nation, then the borders will become around our lives. And is that what we want?
No.
Do we want to be enclosed more and more by the government?
No.
To be given digital IDs?
No.
And to be told where and when we can go somewhere?
No.
And how we can do it? To take that away from us is to take away our fundamental freedoms. Freedoms that have took...
Freedom! Freedom! Freedom!
Freedoms that have taken nearly 1,000 years to manifest. This is not something that happened overnight. It's something that's took a long time. And we've learned to live together in that time and become a nation. And to have this level of immigration is just going to disrupt this country to the point where it won't be a country anymore. And are we prepared for that? No. Do we want to lose England?
No. Colony of the British.
What does England mean to us? Everything.
The Constitution is the solution!
A written constitution. Exactly. A written constitution. No more convention, no more Parliament making up its own rules around its own pockets. That's what we want. And just to finish off, I find it funny that no matter what crisis we seem to face, the Conservatives and Labour always manage to turn it into a racket. A racket for the corporate elites like Serco and MERS, who get billions. 2.8 of recent payments. And that's going to continue year after year until we say no more. Thank you.
Right, I'm just going to imagine you're all naked because I'm absolutely shitting it up here, but I have got to say, I am absolutely fed up with this country and what it's doing to its people. These guys here today, bless their hearts, and I'm sure they wish they were sitting in front of the telly drinking a cup of tea, but where are you when we need you? You're not needed here. We are a peaceful demonstration and we speak about our country and the way we want it run. And we are the power, not you lot, and not the government. Without the good ones, you have no government because we will not pay you. And without you, you take tax on tax on tax on tax. Everything has gone up in the world we live in. Everything's doubled every time you walk into a door. But £7 million a bloody day is going to these immigrants, and that is not on. I actually feel faint. I'm holding on to here, and it is wobbly. I feel like I'm on a boat, but that is what I wanted to say. I own a business in this country and wrangle little tea rooms, so you're all welcome. And if you say you've been to the march, you get a free cup of tea on a Friday. But what I'm saying is, that wasn't advertisement, by the way. What I'm saying is, it started 3 years ago with a fake pandemic, which is it is not a pandemic, and that's one thing you all realise. One of them. And the evidence is on the government website. And I know we're not here for that today, we're here for the immigrants, but it actually started 3 years ago, and we need to end this marching like this every single weekend. I'm supposed to be away this weekend, and I've got all my animals sorted with my family, and I said I'm not going, I'm coming here. So here I am, and God bless all of you, and if we do stand tall, we will do it together. So this is happening while the government are housing illegal immigrants in hotels, and they want to say some words to you. So please welcome our next speaker, who's called Ian.
Maybe they should go and knock on the door for you and tell them to say
This is who we should be housing.
Exactly. And the veterans, and the pensioners.
Well, yeah, I can all hear me. Right, I just want to say, yeah, I've been down here 9 months down, he's been down a lot longer. His missus is fucking homeless in a tent, I'm homeless, my mate's homeless in a tent. Council turned up yesterday and said you've got 24 hours to move this fucking stuff. Right? In the 9 months I've been down here, there's over 500 immigrants that's been fucking putting ass in holes there in hotels. And I get told to piss off, he gets told to piss off. I don't care about my language, sorry officers, but the fact is, I'll say it how it is. I don't lie, I speak fucking words. Right? If the council should do something for the fucking English for once, stop doing it for foreigners. I'm not racist in any way, no disrespect to them. But the fact is, if I ever see any foreigners like I seen the other night, 3 of them following a girl at KFC, I turned around and walked and followed them. And you lot, what did you do when I tried to flag you down? Told me to piss off and carry straight up. How's the fucking English?
Fastest growing nationalist organisation.
For being here today. And the thing is, we have to ask ourselves exactly why we are here. We are here to oppose the invasion of our ancestral homeland. Right now, every single day, hundreds, sometimes thousands of men of fighting age wash up on our shores and are immediately taxied to 3, 4 and even 5-star hotels. But when we call it an invasion, we have to look at that word, because this is a very,
different invasion to any other invasion in the history of this country, maybe even the history of this planet. Because our government, our traitorous MPs are assisting the invaders. They are helping them to come here, they are encouraging them, they are using our armed forces as a taxi service to bring them across the channel, and when our own people are waiting 16 hours for an ambulance, there are ambulances waiting at those Dover docks to take these people to the hospital, and taxis waiting to take them to hotels. But there's something else that makes this invasion very different to any other invasion. We, the indigenous people, are paying for it. We are the ones being taxed, and our money is being spent on these invaders, and it is costing us in excess of £2 billion a year just to put them in hotels. That doesn't include legal fees, interpreters, it doesn't include the human or criminal costs. That's just the hotel bills. And they keep saying there's a cost of living crisis. British people are on the poverty line. British people are sinking beneath the poverty line. They're struggling to put food on the table, to heat their homes, and at the same time, migrants, men of fighting age, who aren't fleeing war, they're coming here for an easy ride, are being put up in hotels, filling their bellies, and living at our expense. And what do the politicians say? Last week, Therese Coffey, a Conservative Party minister, had the temerity to say, if British people can't eat, they should work longer hours. You should work more hours, you should work harder, your wife should go out to work, your kids should take part-time jobs so you can be taxed a little bit more to pay for the invasion. And I'll tell you this, it doesn't look like she's missed out on many meals.
Eat your turnip!
Exactly, eat your turnips. Because she's one of the elected swine. She's there with her snout in the trough, filling her face, and it's all paid for by you, the taxpayer. And she's filling her face with the central heating on full. She's comfy, and she's telling you to work harder. And I'll tell you this, just like all of the other Westminster swine, do you know how much she's been granted this year in a pay rise? £2,400 extra a year. And do you know what she got last year? Another pay rise of £2,400. And do you know what she'll get next year? Another pay rise of £2,400. They're getting pay rises while we sit in the cold wondering if we'll be able to afford bread and milk. It's a scandal. In fact, it's the scandal of our age. But there is another aspect to this invasion that makes it stand out as very different. Whilst these people pour in, and whilst normal British people oppose it, the mainstream media is running PR for the migrants, telling us that they enrich our country, that we need to be tolerant, that diversity makes us stronger. It's all a lie. And when normal people like yourselves, British taxpayers, stand up and say enough is enough. The media start. They call you racists, bigots, Nazis. They do anything they can to silence the resistance. But I will say one thing for the media. The media have been quite honest about the cost of living crisis. But one thing they haven't been honest about, one thing that they've been covering up and lying through their teeth about, one thing that paints the media as the enemy of the people is the fact that they are covering up the harassment, sexual assault and rape of white schoolgirls at the hands of these invaders. This is the hidden epidemic that is sweeping Britain. And if we speak out, we're the ones that get the police knocking on our doors. Yeah. We're the ones condemned by our MPs. We're the ones that the media hound and write stories about. And what are we doing? We're trying to protect our children. Is it any crime to protect your own daughter? No! And I'll tell you something else. Are you angry? Yes! And when you say that, everyone tells you no. No, you can't be. And I'm telling you, yes, you can. You have every right to be angry. I'm angry. And I understand your hurt, your pain, and your anger. But I'm going to tell you something now. Do not be angry with the migrants, because you're clever people. You know they're different to us. You know they come from parts of the world where the cultures and the customs and the way of life and the morality is vastly different to ours. That means they're not compatible with us. That means they shouldn't be here. You know that, and I know that, because we're intelligent people. But so are the MPs, so are our politicians. They're intelligent people, and they know the migrants are not compatible with us, but they still keep bringing them in. They still keep swamping us with them and doing nothing about it. Save your anger for these parasitical politicians that are bleeding you dry. Boris Johnson said it. Theresa May said it. And just last month, Rishi Sunak said, we are going to stop the small boats. So who's lying? Matt Warren, or the Conservatives in Parliament, or all of them? Every one of them is deceiving you. Every one of them is taking you for a ride. Because I'm going to share something with you today. The traitors in Westminster are bringing these people in because they are trying to replace white British people. We are headed to being a minority. People use the term, we're second-class citizens. Well, soon we'll be worse. We will be a hated minority. And we already are. In Birmingham, white British people only make up 42% of the population. In London, white British people only make up 37% of the population. And I'm going to ask you this, Skegness. Do you want to be a minority in your own homeland? But if the Conservative government, with the assistance of the Labour Party and the Lib Dems, keep doing what they're doing, we will be a minority in Britain as a whole by 2066. Is that what you want for your grandchildren? No! And imagine if the attacks are like they are now, what will they be like when we're a minority across the nation as a whole? It is time to make a stand. And today has been spectacular. Today has been a show that we are peaceful, law-abiding citizens that are calling for change. But where do we go after this? Well, we need to make sure we don't give the lying press any ammunition, and we need to set our sights on getting rid of these politicians. Yes! We need to target the next round of elections and tell everyone in Skegness, everyone in Lincolnshire, everyone in Britain, don't vote for these parasites. Stand in the elections as independent councillors. Tell people don't vote Tory, don't vote Labour. And ask people the question which I'm going to ask you. Are we going to be replaced? No! Or are we going to replace these politicians? And when we take back power, we're going to show Matt Warren a thing or two. The first thing we're going to do is send these invaders back. And then, my friends, we're going to do something that no British government has done post-Second World War. Something radical and visionary. We're going to start putting British people first! Thank you, my friends.
That's it, it's all over, but I'm going to say the shouting, but it's all over, just a few stragglers now. No trouble, all these police officers were a waste of time. I suppose they had to be there, but this is it. This will be the video, it'll be up later on tonight. So this is Skegness Barry, be on YouTube later on, follow it if you can, give us a follow on YouTube.